Good afternoon, good evening, good morning if you're somewhere in Australia or New Zealand, very early in the morning. What are you doing up this early? Um, yeah, how are you doing, Mario? Do you know what day it is? Do you know what date it is? Do you know what year it is? Do you know what time it is? Because I've lost all sense of all of the above in recent weeks.
No, it's difficult. Uh, Fortunately, there are tournaments. So tomorrow quarterfinals, and so Friday. Sometimes it's easy in this way.
I'm trying to arrange the schedules for the Australian Open, and it's so confusing because I'm working on Central European time, like yourself and Damien and a few of our colleagues. But then, of course, we have to remember we've got people in GMT. That's not too complicated, but still, it can cause issues when we say see you at 1 o'clock and you're wondering where the hell the other person is. But then it gets more complex when you're starting to remember people in Asia, and then you're obviously looking at North America, but also not just North America. You've got East Coast, West Coast, and elsewhere. You're also talking about a tournament in Australia. So I'm talking to somebody saying, "Okay, I think we need you on Tuesday. No, not Tuesday morning. It's Monday afternoon for you, and we need you to commentate on Tuesday
Yeah, yeah.
afternoon's tennis somewhere else." Anyway, even right now, it's going to get worse, by the way, Mario, when the Australian Open starts. Even now, already, we're starting. And I said to you today, how are you doing? I think I need to sleep.
Yeah, Australia, to be honest, it's the most difficult for me because even in the United States we watch tennis at night, but it's like that we keep watching tennis during the night. We have tennis since our afternoon, so it's easier to stay awake. While in the Australia we have to wait till the night and then we start watching tennis. Yeah, so it's a bit difficult. Let's
Yeah.
see.
All right, let's start with a couple of injuries. There was one that I had in the newsreel. Doesn't seem to be too serious. Marin Cilic. We'll come to Emma Raducanu in a second, where there's a bit more doubt and concern. But just quickly on this question here from Ghosty, it could be a money situation, Ghosty. But let's look at it from a sporting perspective. Perhaps he looks at this tournament in India, which is worth 250 ranking points, and he looks at the one in Adelaide and sees that's worth 250 ranking points and thinking, I will get more points at the Indian version, or more likely to get points than elsewhere. But he's obviously taken a precautionary decision to pull out. There may also be financial incentives as well, but that would be my take on it. But I do think that it's going to be okay. But of course, listen, if every player could, they would all be in Australia and probably even in Melbourne playing a particular tournament. But there is no tournament in Melbourne, so the next best option is somewhere else in Australia. But unlike Messrs. Nadal, Djokovic, Alcaraz, perhaps, most other players on tour have to think about ranking points and where they can get them because they want to be seeded at other tournaments to give them a chance to progress their career. Anyway, that's Cilic done. I'm going to come to Emma Raducanu now, and I'm going to speak to you, Mario, because I got a WhatsApp from you earlier going, oh no, that's so unlucky for Emma. And to be honest with you, I just thought that maybe she'd lost and it was a difficult defeat. But it's unfortunately in a way worse than that. Not only does she go out of the tournament in Auckland, she's injured.
Yeah, the fact is simple, is that some people have criticized Emma Raducanu during the last season. She needs to have a more consistent technical guide, coach, etc. It's all good and all fair, but for the girl, it's impossible to if she's so unlucky with her physical issues. She's not able to to play consistent matches week by week. So I think that it's impossible in this way for her to try to build some kind of form of confidence, to work even better on herself and on her tennis, because the tennis is there. We've seen it sometimes, because in Cincinnati she played very well last year, but even this week she played a very good match against Linda Fruvirtova, who is a very, very good young player. So not an easy task to face her in the first match of the season. Then she was playing very good in the first set here. So yeah, she's fallen down. She's fallen down. She turned her ankle, and she left the court in tears. It's been very, very sad to watch. We don't know if she, at least I don't know exactly if she was in tears because she was maybe scared, and probably it's not something too serious, but it was sad, and I think it's concerning to see her like that. And it's undeniable that she's very unlucky with her physical problems, issues, and so for her it's impossible in this way to find consistency and to find some tennis form, in my opinion, because you need matches, as we say, for every other player. And so it's easy to criticize her, but sometimes she has a lot of excuses because she's not been able to play consistently in the last months. She was injured even in the last part of the last year, after reaching making a very good result in Seoul. I remember like the semifinals. So yeah, she was playing a great match against I think Ostapenko, and then she needed to retire. She's unlucky in this period. It's impossible for her to try to find herself and her tennis in this way.
Ghosty, sometimes you ask me questions that I feel confident about, such as with Marin Cilic and why he's in India and not Australia. Other times you do post slightly trickier questions, and I have to say I don't know Emma Raducanu's ancestry and history in the family regarding the strength of their ankles. But thanks for your question, Ghosty. I hope you forgive me that I don't know if there is a history of weak ankles. But listen, she has complained about the slippery courts there. I do hope that the ankle is okay, and it just seems to be one of those things that could happen to anyone. By the way, it does seem like on this occasion with the court condition, if that is to blame, then this is something that could happen to anyone. But we do know about other chronic issues that she has. But listen, Ghosty, as well, I know with a lot of young sports people that they can have issues, growing pains, believe it or not, between the ages of 17 and 23, such as shin splints. I know it's a common thing where you have this problem where the muscle and the bone come apart because things are growing too quickly, etc., and you're having to transform yourself into an adult and a superhuman sports person very quickly, and that can put an unnecessary strain on the body. But let's see if it is something that she emerges from. But I do think this injury might not be necessarily down to weak ankles, if I'm honest. And listen, there has been a bit of rain in Auckland, of course. It's a bit damper, for example, at this time of year than Australia is, at least where most of the tournaments are being played. So fingers crossed, Emma's situation isn't too bad, and she's okay with the Australian Open. But with it just being 11 days away, it's quite understandable that she was so disappointed, especially as she says here, I've put a lot of physical work in the last few months, and I've been feeling good and optimistic. And it looks like it's a freak injury rather than anything else. I guess it's all about whether there are, basically, if there's any ligament damage or not. There may well not be, and that may well be all good. Let's go back to the tennis. We'll come to the United Cup in the sort of the second half of the show. Did you manage to watch any of Djokovic's win last night?
Yeah, to be honest, Alice played a very, very good match. And I think that it's been also an important test for Djokovic to play some tight set, some close sets, to be able to raise his level in tiebreaks. It's obviously a tournament where him, as we were saying for Medvedev when he won against Sonego, you also need sometimes to face this kind of situations, to go through some issues and to overcome them. He started quite flat, but I have to say that I think he played overall a good match. and so nothing to. I think that it's still good what he did. Won 2 matches in straight sets, raising a little bit his tennis level, and now he has another very good test because he has to face Shapovalov, who is clearly a more difficult test. So yeah, I think that for now he's on the right path, and nothing more.
Okay. He was down in that, wasn't he? Was he down in the tiebreak, in the first set tiebreak? I saw somebody write somewhere that he was 5-2 down. I don't know if they meant in
No
games or in.
games.
Oh, he was 5-2 down in games, was he?
The tiebreak won easily the first.
Oh yeah,
The
7-3. You're right. Yeah, yeah. So he
He
was
was
5-2.
4-0 up in the tiebreak, I remember. So he had a good start. Djokovic, as we read in the comments, said Halis played a very, very good match. And Novak said he is happy with his performance, and I trust him. Halis was 5 down, 5-2 up, and Novak came back, broke back, and then here we are talking about another straight sets win.
Yeah, exactly. Albeit 2 tiebreakers, as we say, and the second one was much closer. But okay, he was 5-2 down in games. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't sure about that little stat, but that's interesting. I mean, he's a top 100 opponent, so it's a top 70 opponent. I think he's ranked 67 in the world.
Yeah, so, and he's playing very, very, very good, very well in recent months. In recent period is I think two very good tests with Lestienne and Halis, also because they are 2 very different players. So it's been good to start his season against these 2 opponents, and now we have to watch him against in higher I don't know, more difficult tests.
I've got a question here regarding Puna, actually, and I think that's from Nick. I'll be honest with you, probably of all the tournaments going on now, the one in India I've paid least attention to. I know Karatsev went through. There was actually a match still taking place as we went live.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's panned out. I know that it went to a tiebreak. Let's get some of the scores up actually on the screen.
Bonzi's up 7-6, 3-1 against Krajinovic.
So that's yet to finish because, of course, in India right now, the time will be sort of late evening, if you like.
Yeah.
Von der Zandschulp is through, and as I mentioned, Karatsev too as well, with just losing 3 games against Martinez. Okay, so Bonzi looks like he's on course, although things can change there against Krajinovic, and that would be a good win, obviously, with Krajinovic ranked or seeded 6, I should say. Botic,
Bonzi has also beaten Rusuwori. In straight set, 6-1, 7-5, which is a very, very good score against a great player, because he's a dangerous player in this kind of courts. So he's having a very, very good week.
And of course, with going live at this particular time, I was trying to get all the scores in and done for that little reel at the beginning. And of course, this was one match that basically, when you've got tournaments going on in India, Australia, and New Zealand, and you're based in Europe, it's 24/7. There's just, I think there might be a sweet spot in about 1 hour from now, 2 hours from now, where there won't be any tennis happening, let's say, on the planet, and we can just we can maybe do one of those reels. But 5 p.m. I think suited Mario and I as well in terms of this show. So hope you don't mind that we're not quite covering every single match, but we're doing our best. Okay, listen, India tick, injuries tick. Let's get back to the court, though, in Auckland, actually, where I know Venus was in action. She won the first set, but ended up going out. She's got a wild card, of course, for the Australian Open.
Yeah, she served for it.
She served for the match?
Yeah. If I'm not wrong, 5-4 in the third. 5-4 in the third. I think she served for it.
Okay, so yes, I can see this now. Yeah, it was a bit of an epic, actually. 3 hours, almost 3 hours. 6-3 winning the first set, 2-6 second, and then she was 7-4, 5-4. Someone of her caliber and experience may well have expected to see that out.
Venus is an interesting girl, I have to say. This Venus Williams.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to see her more in the future.
Good. Okay, yes, this young whippersnapper, Venus Williams. Yes, she's going to go far in this tournament, in this sport. I'm sure you're right. Okay, listen. Sorry, it's the lack of sleep means that sometimes your humor escapes me, but I got it in the end. That's the most important thing.
Azarenka, you're showing Azarenka score.
Yes, she
A
won
very,
some.
very nice win.
Very nice, very comfortable, yeah. Straight sets, Anjou winning in straight sets as well. Oh, by the way, Ostapenko, she was leading 3-1 in that match. I don't know if you know. And then she went on to lose 11 games in a row.
Eva is quite the same with Andreescu.
The Romanian Tennis Association trolled Ostapenko. The official Romanian Tennis Association sent out a tweet, something along the lines of, our girl was 3-1 down, but then she won 11 games in a row, and I don't know what was going on with her opponent. So the Romanian Tennis Association decided to troll Ostapenko. I don't know if there's any...
Ostapenko is a bit unpredictable because she won 6-1, 6-3 against Pliskova, and then she had a very rough rough match here. But we've said also of Andreescu playing Kudermetova. Andreescu was 4-love up and lost 6-4, 6-love. It was a bit of I don't know, shocking. Even because I didn't think about Kudermetova is a very, very solid player, and I think probably she would have been favorite anyway against this Bianca Andreescu. But it was a bit concerning and strange to see her losing 12 games in a row after being up 4-love in the first set.
3-1 in the first set and then lost 11 in a row, I think.
Ostapenko. And now I'm talking about Andreescu.
Oh, sorry.
Who was 4-love up against Kudermetova and lost 6-4, 6-love.
Yeah, that's really strange.
So sometimes I don't know what to say, because it's strange. It's really strange when a player starts so well and then suddenly lost the plot. But I'm just hoping to find her soon higher in the ranking, because she's able to do amazing things. So I hope that she can improve during this season. But Kudermetova is very, very solid player, and I think she's gonna stay there even in 2023.
Yes, I understand that as well. Okay, anything else to add in terms of Auckland?
Speaking about Auckland, I think that golf is doing very well in Auckland. Sloane Stephens had a rough tournament. She was second seed and she lost against Rebecca Masarova.
Okay.
The Spanish girl. She lost in straight sets. It was a very flat match from her. It's quite a strange event also because of the weather and all this stuff. So it's not so easy also to understand. Fernandez was very, very good. She lost, I think, 3 games in 2 matches. Her first 2 matches because she played against Brenda Fruvirtova, 15 years old girl, and she won 6-1, 6-1. She's playing very well. And nothing. Speaking about women tennis, that also in Adelaide we're seeing Sabalenka did great, coming back from 1-5 down and beating Samsonova in straight sets. Samsonova is also a very, very scary player. I've seen her playing during last season in some tournaments, and she's very, very. She can do great things on court. So it's pretty good from Sabalenka, considering also how bad she started the season in 2022. She's serving better. I think that it's been a very, very good first match, and also from Ons Jabeur. today, because after a first set with a lot of ups and downs, but then she found herself, and considering also it was her first match playing obviously an experienced girl like Kirstea, and so yeah, very convincing start also from her.
For me, it's really difficult to know and say. I mean, like take the result there that we just highlighted from Fernandez, because sometimes we see with these players that they thrash a player one day and then they get thrashed themselves the next, as we saw with Ostapenko, for example. But listen, there's very few things in tennis that I would like to see more than a return to form of Leylah Fernandez. And she's one of those. It's kind of interesting that both her and Emma Raducanu, since that US Open final, probably had a very similar kind of trajectory. And I would love to see one or both come back. Go on, Mario.
Yeah, even if at least Leylah Fernandez won the title in Monterrey, reached the quarterfinals in Roland Garros.
Yeah, true. That was a good run in Roland Garros. Yeah.
It's still a Grand Slam quarterfinal. So I think that at least Fernandez in some
and then she got injured. She was injured as well for Wimbledon. And I think she came back just in time for the. Did she make it back for the US Open? I think she did, but.
Clearly she was not so ready. At least Fernandez in some weeks she showed very, very good things.
Gary gives me grief over my pronunciation. And by the way, for sure, when it comes to Asian names and Eastern European names, it's not a strong suit, but I do okay with the British names, and I've got Ghosty all right. I can get Ghosty down. Gerulaitis, by the way, it's a hard G because that name is, I think, Lithuanian, of Lithuanian descent, and a Lithuanian friend of mine said it's Gerulaitis. So I've got that one anyway. Anyway, listen, Mario, sorry, I've stopped you in your tracks there. We were talking about tennis, and I went down a different route with pronunciation, but. Okay, listen, Adelaide, I think, tick. Auckland, tick. Let's just have a quick one more glance at Adelaide on the men's side, because Djokovic will be playing Shapovalov, because Shapovalov managed to win his match against a qualifier in straight sets. Sebi Korda beat Bautista Agut. I think that's a very good win for Sebi, who, by the way, talking of making mistakes with names, I often call him Peter, which is his father's name, although I believe in the Czech Republic they say better. But I need to get that right and say Sebi. But that's a good win for him. And I know that one or two of the members of the Talking Tennis community are very big on Sebi Korda. Some even think that he has the potential to become the number one ranked player in the US. So, yeah, a lot of people are very big on Sebi.
I think too, to be honest, because I also watched him live. I remember playing in Paris Master 2021 against Medvedev. And I've been really impressed watching him playing live. And I think he just has to do another little step. Being a little bit more consistent, but yeah, he's able to do great things, and he's showing it. I think that he's also ended 2022 quite strongly, reaching the final. I remember he was in the final in Gijón, for example. I think that he has the potential to be higher in the ranking, and at least, I don't know, I expect him to be seated in the slams very soon, to be honest, because I think he has all the potential to be in that range of players. I can see him growing and growing, and I'm waiting for him. So I'm looking forward, because it's a bit of a time that I'm waiting for him to grow him and to do this step. He's a bit waiting probably too much time, as I was expecting. But yeah, I think he obviously is still very young, so he has a lot of time, and probably some players need to has a different growth. than other players. So I think that he has all the potential to still grow a lot and develop a lot as a player.
Okay, fair enough. I was fortunate enough to come across Sebi Korda last year on the streets of south of France, and he had lots and lots of soft drinks, very good, at least not alcoholic, but loads and loads of bags of chips, or as we would call them in the UK, crisps. So maybe he needs to take care with them, but he's a very thin guy. I don't think he's going to be putting on too many kilos, and at least he was not partying it away in the south of France. So Sebi Korda, big things predicted of him, as I say, in 2023. I think Jack is pretty big on him among others. And as I say, some are even suggesting he might, become US number one day. Let's see if he fulfills that potential next year. Okay, I think it's time now to talk United Cup. Let's talk about what happened 36 hours ago. You told me there was a funny moment with the Italian team in that Trevisan was a bit confused about what she had to do.
Yeah, a bit, all of them, honestly, because it was also because they were playing at the same time, all the teams. So every result was changing. But to answer to some people who were like saying, "Oh, Italian threw the doubles away because they lost pretty roughly." No, I'm sure that they didn't do that because they also were not sure about what they needed to do in order to qualify. If they were sure to be the best loser team. It was a bit strange. It was a total mess, I have to say. Yeah, and it's true. Because when also the players involved in the event don't exactly know what they need to do, it means that it's a bit of a mess as a format, to be honest. I have to say that I have enjoyed it. But for example, I have to say that in that moment I wasn't working. But if probably I was working on some in that moment on my websites, etc., probably I would be mad with all these things, because it was a lot to take in mind. How many sets won, lost, the percentage. Some things are so easy, but we need to make them so complex. At least we had the deciding doubles in the end of the day. That was still important to determine the qualified teams. And that's a lucky thing, because this Italian doubles was also important for Poland, because if Poland losing the tie, they would have been out. But then also between Croatia and Greece, it was very, very interesting, because the winning team in the semifinals and the loser team at home.
Okay. Listen, I am looking forward to the semi-finals, but it's probably the one round I've been looking forward to the most, because at least there is some clarity. I know exactly what's happening. We've not got countries who are already out having only played one match. We've not got countries that have played two matches when other countries haven't played any. We've not got dead rubber, at least not yet. We've not got any dead rubber doubles action happening, if you like. And that won't happen, because if you do lose the tie now, say you lose the first three matches, they won't play the final two. So we don't have any of that. We also really, if we're honest, we're looking at the first probably couple of days action, and we're just thinking about certain individuals. How ready are they? How are they doing? Oh, my goodness me. Taylor Fritz looks like he could win the Aussie Open. Oh, Cam Norrie looks like he's in a good situation.
Norrie.
Yeah, exactly. Our favorite Cam Norrie. And he beat Taylor Fritz. I mean, it didn't matter in the end because Great Britain went out, but he beat Taylor Fritz in that epic rivalry that's
and
developing.
Now they are 6-6. So
6-6, exactly.
The rivalry is very tight.
Talking tennis will be a part of history in about 100 years from now, but those two guys will still be battling it out for supremacy, probably at 63 in the head-to-head. But listen, by the way, my tip as well, the United States still looking pretty good. I mean, by the way, Taylor Fritz, that'd be a bit. I didn't see the match against Cam Noy, but that would be a disappointing result. I did see, I know it's 36 hours ago or so, I did watch Katie Swan against Madison Keys, which was an exciting match. Britain got the first set. I did say that I had some frustrations with the commentary because I think it was a bit too much friendliness between the British commentators and the British team, if you like, and I rather probably have a bit more objectivity from the commentators. I know that they all have friends and same nationalities, I understand, but I think you can still try and remain a bit more objective than some of those guys were, some of those commentators were. But listen, Britain did pretty well, I would say, considering, if it's okay to say, the talent at their disposal, and against the US, which is my tip to win the tournament. I think the US will always, but again, they probably needed to win that first match. I think I mentioned how Cam Noy has to beat Taylor Fritz, and he did. But you probably also need someone else like that one as well to come through. Once Madison Keys got back into the match, because to be honest with you, the first sort of 10 games, there was loads of breaks. And it was exciting, by the way. But I just felt as though Katie Swan was sort of redlining and that her peak was there, but it could easily, not continue that way. And Madison Keys.
Tiafoe's been great to come back against Dan Evans because he was down a set in the break. And Evans was playing a very, very good tennis. But Tiafoe, it was a great comeback. Because Evans probably dropped his level a little bit, but he didn't end playing bad. So Tiafoe did a great job, even because in the doubles you never know what's going to happen. And I think that Team Great Britain would have had a very strong team, because Dan Evans, for example, can play very, very well in doubles. So I think that that's been a great turning point. Probably I think that we have two exciting semifinals, because I think that probably Poland and United States are the two strongest teams among the four. So I think probably we should have two very exciting semifinals. I don't know, probably United States and Greece a little bit up. I don't know. I think it's quite even also on paper, but I don't know. I think that probably USA and Greece. Maria Sakkari is playing unbelievable. Is playing a great doubles. She played. She's been the MVP of the doubles. And she also said it. She recognized she played very, very well in the doubles. For example, I saw a lot of rallies with the backhand. She's very strong on the backhand side. It's very difficult to make her coming back on the court. Goyo wasn't able to do it. And she served very, very well. They looked so focused, as I said in the last episodes. They look so focused because they know, they are aware about this great chance they got having this mixed competition.
Yeah, Gene, I do agree. I'm just edging towards the US, but that could easily go. That could easily go either way. I mean, if Hurkacz wins his match, I guess that's the big singles encounter really to look out for. You'd expect whoever Swiatek plays, Pegula or Keys, you'd probably think Swiatek would win that, but that she can always lose a match, as anyone can. But it's probably all about whether Hurkacz can win his singles, and then if he does that, then they're in a great position. But I did tip the US at the beginning, so I guess I'll have to stick with that, and I'm fine with that. But yeah, just back to Sakkari, of course. I think playing for Greece and being Greek is something that she talks about a lot. She's very proud Greek, and
Yeah,
I think she's dating the son of the prime minister there as well, which probably just adds to it all too.
I didn't know
Um,
it.
yeah, she is. Yeah, yeah. And but look at the way, I love the way in this picture Tsitsipas is looking at her in admiration. Look at this little admiration there from Tsitsipas as he,
Tsitsipas cried a little bit in the end.
yeah. And by the way, I think there was a question and answer thing where they were asked what would they like to have from their from their partner. You know, what talent would you like to have, and what characteristic? I think Sakkari predictably went for Tsitsipas's forehand, and I can't remember if Sakkari said, "Oh, I know Tsitsipas." Tsitsipas said returns, and she had to guess. So she has to guess, and she says backhand, but
Yeah,
actually he says returns, which he said the reason he went for the return from Sakkari is because she pulled off an amazing return that particular day, I think, or the previous day. And they joked about that. And they'd had a joke on court at the time about, wow, I wish I had your returns. But maybe there's an element of truth in it, because I know a lot of people talk about Tsitsipas's backhand, but actually there are good days. The backhand has good days and
yeah.
good moments. I'm not
Against
sure.
in the last
Rafa.
match.
Well, I remember
Uh,
against Rafa in 2021 as well. It was unbelievable. And probably
yeah,
during
yeah.
that
But
year.
more recently, in the last match against Borna Coric in the third
Okay.
set, that was the key to come back.
Okay.
Because he's been able to play very very well on the backhand side, and so did in that famous semifinal in Bercy against Djokovic.
Okay.
And obviously it helps a lot when he's able to produce some
Do you know who
some
that
very
is?
good things.
One point to everybody in the live chat, if you know who this guy is, because I'm pretty sure I know who it is. But anyway, yeah, no, I listen. It's just for me, it's the returns, Mario. It's the returns that don't have good days, or they don't have many
Yeah,
good
no,
days.
that's right. That's
So
right.
the backhand has good days, and it's there. It's obviously, I always feel a
Yeah,
bit more nervous about the one-handed backhand, but it does and it does have good days, whereas the returns don't very often have it. But yeah, one point for anyone in the live chat who knows who that person I was circling. If you don't get it in the next minute or two, I will tell you. Yes, very good, Nick. Although interestingly, Nick's not going to say his surname for the same reason that I wouldn't probably like to write it out. Mark Philippoussis is, by the way, who I'm referring to. But I don't want to be spelling that out either, because my spelling is nearly as bad as my pronunciation. Okay. Listen, who have we missed? I think we've got the 3 city finals. We've obviously now got the semi-final set. So we've got Poland against, and all of these matches now are taking place in Sydney. I did think, by the way, that the one or two players that have gone out, whether it be in Adelaide or whether it be in Canberra, there's been a tournament in Canberra, a challenger tournament, and I interviewed Liam Brody's coach earlier today about, unfortunately, Liam Brody went out, but the topic being that actually there can be a blessing in disguise. And so this includes players like Rafa Nadal, Paolo Badosa as well. At least now they're in Melbourne. They're in Melbourne and they're getting ready. Liam Brody as well. He'll have his qualifiers on Monday or Tuesday. So whereas he could have been playing on Friday and Saturday if he progressed in Canberra. And even the guys in Sydney, they're going to be getting to Melbourne a couple of days later, and the ones in Adelaide as well, the further they progress. So I don't think it'll make a big difference, but you never know. 0.01%. And for somebody like Brody, I think that could be quite useful for him getting to Melbourne in time for his potential qualifier on Monday or Tuesday next week. So there is some cloud to that. But these guys in the team tournament, you just don't know how much. For example, with Sakkari in particular, but perhaps also Tsitsipas and maybe even Tsitsipas. I've got the names on the brain. This is not enough sleep, ladies and gentlemen. Tsitsipas, not Philippoussis. He retired a long time ago. But yeah, Tsitsipas. You don't know. Maybe this might, exhaust them mentally and physically. But I mean, obviously they're going to be playing until Sunday, so they probably won't get to Melbourne till Monday. Maybe they'll be practicing from Tuesday onwards.
They still have a week to.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But we have seen some players playing a 250, I think pretty much the week before. I remember Dan Evans a couple of years ago doing so and winning a 250. Kokinakis, of course, who was in action today against your friend Yannick Sinner. I remember him winning a 250, and both went out in the first round. Now I know that's a week later, so So,
Yeah,
so
even if,
yeah.
for example, Casper Ruud played the week before Roland Garros and then ended reaching the final. So yeah, I don't know. It depends a little bit. Um, yeah, I know we are talking probably a guy among the top 2-3 on clay, so probably not a big deal for him to do so. But it's different from body to body, and from also how a player is used to do. I don't know. It's difficult because everyone is different. So I think that probably the most useful thing is to have a week off in Melbourne to practice and to be used to the courts and to prepare very well to the Grand Slam. But you never know. Sometimes, for example, it's also useful to gain confidence. And so if you don't have confidence, it can be good to play the week before a Grand Slam and probably reaching a final, and so having a boost of confidence before the Grand Slam. It depends how everyone minds work. Yeah, about Sinner, yeah, he looked good. Yeah, it was a high quality match, I have to say. Kokkinakis played a good match. He still has the other week because he won Adelaide 2, so the 250 points, I think that don't drop this week. But he reached the semi-final in the Adelaide 1. He needs to stay in the top 100. So there are important weeks for him. But good for Yannis Sinner. He has a chance. Now he has to play Sebastian Korda. I think that in the head-to-head he's been good. And it's an interesting match because both played well in these two first matches of their season. And let's see. I think they both need that confidence, that boost of confidence, which I was mentioning before.
So we've got, if I understand correctly, we've got Djokovic, Shapovalov. We've got Sinner against Korda. Medvedev, who's he playing in the quarterfinals? Do you know?
Kachanov in the higher part of the draw. So the winner of the Medvedev match will face the winner of Djokovic's match.
Okay, so potential semi-final there between Medvedev and Djokovic.
And then we have Sinner, Korda, Popyrin, and Nishioka in the bottom half of the draw.
Okay, so Sinner might be thinking there's a potential final here.
Yeah, I think she has a good chance. So it's important for him because he's a guy with a great potential. He is a strong team because he is with Darren Cahill, also with the Italian Simone Vagnozzi, who has worked very, very well in the past. Also with other players like Cecchinato. I think that he can do something very, very good this season, and starting well always helps. Always helps you to get on the right path, on the right form to reach your goal and to start well in Australia. He defends the quarterfinals there. So yeah, Tsitsipas could end this week being number 2 in the world.
Okay, so Tsitsipas could overtake Nadal.
Tsitsipas is currently number 4. If he wins tomorrow, he'll be number 3 over Ruud. Even if we know that Ruud has 0 to defend in Australian Open and Tsitsipas semi-final, but yeah. And if he wins both matches against Berrettini and in the final, he could end as number 2, and it could be a higher best ranking for him because he'd never been in the top 2 before. So yeah, let's see that this United Cup is also important with this with the points at stake and all these things. For example, Nadal played and gained 0 points, while Tsitsipas is gaining a lot of points. I know that you also have to be lucky because sometimes it doesn't depend. For example, Nori played unbelievable in this United Cup, but he can't add points anymore because his team is out. So you have to be lucky, but if you're good enough to beat some top 10 players and stuff like that, you can be a very, very important. For example, Musetti will break the top 20 next week. Number 19 or number 12 if Kachanov does a great result, but still a great milestone. So we're gonna have 3 Italians in the top 20. Think it's never happened before. I think most probably yes. So yeah, it's pretty important because next ranking will define the Australian Open seeding.
Yes. Yeah, because tournaments next week, such as Adelaide 2, won't count. Is that right?
Yeah, for, Adelaide 2, no. So, for example, being the number 12 seed can be important because if you are the number 12 in the world, you avoid in round 4 the top 4 seeding, even if we don't know who is stronger because, you know, we have Djokovic number 5, last year finalist Medvedev, which is also 6, 7, so it's quite strange to think. I don't like talk about the draws, even because players can flop. So
yeah, right.
So then you do a lot of talking, and then probably it's not like you have imagined when the draw is out. Yeah, Berrettini has a shot, and also Sinner and Nori, who is currently number 12. I'm seeing watching the question we received.
Yeah, I see it from Nick. Yeah. Okay, listen, I'm just going to go back and share this screen before we bring the show to a close. We've got a few matches that I want to just touch upon, or tournaments at least, to give us a roundup. This is in Auckland, by the way. We've got Coco Gauff there in action, amongst others. Leylah Fernandez over there as well. Good to see Mukova as well, doing well. I remember seeing her at the French Open. Really played very, very well against, I think it was Maria Sakkari last year. But then she got injured, so that sort of unfortunately scuppered her chances. But maybe Fernandez may well be fancying her chances there. I mean, maybe Coco Gauff too. I mean, those two are the standout names for me. So that'll be interesting.
The 250 rules are quite mind-blowing in WTA because the top 10 can play only twice in a year, and only one top 10 can be in the draw of 250. And that's the reason why we have some 500 draws, like next week in Adelaide. We're gonna have the top 4 ranked player if no one pulls out.
So Iga's going to play United Cup potentially until the final. Then she's going to play Adelaide 2.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if probably she's gonna pull off, but
she might do. Yeah.
Till now, she's in the list. By the way, Coco Gauff has a great chance. But yeah, I'm thinking that Leylah Fernandez can need this confidence before the Australian Open because having had a difficult end of the year, also due to that injury suffered in Roland Garros, she lost a little bit of time. She had there also a good chance, and so yeah, I think that who knows if Leylah Fernandez can win it all.
Yeah, she might be able to. Back to the men, Adelaide 1. We did touch on that earlier. Adelaide 1 for both the men and the women, actually. Sabalenka there against
I think it's Ons against Kostyuk there.
Okay. You mean Ons gets to the final, yeah?
No, yeah, I was talking about the order of play. That's TBD.
I see. Yeah, to be decided. Yeah. It's Ons against Kostyuk.
She's Ons.
Yeah,
Um,
that's on Jabeur.
Azarenka is a good. Yeah, Noskova is playing great tennis. So I'm interested in that match, Noskova Azarenka. It's interesting because Azarenka played. Kim Wen didn't play a great match, not one to remember. But Azarenka, especially in the first set, she did really a great job, and I wasn't expecting this because her first match against Kalinina was quite average, I have to say, even if she was able to step up in the important moments. But no, today she played a very great match. Yes, so there are interesting things to watch in this event.
Definitely. One thing that won't be interesting to watch if you're Denis Shapovalov is that head-to-head record against Novak Djokovic.
We tried, even if you look the last meetings, I think the sets were all very close.
Wimbledon was the last time they played each other, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, all the sets were close. Yes, it's true. 6, 7-5, 7-5. Yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, I remember that Shapovalov was really playing better.
Yep. He was for a set and a
But
half.
you know what happened usually against Novak Djokovic. So yeah, that was pretty rough. For example, in 2020 ATP Cup, Shapovalov was very close too. We will see, but yeah, the head-to-head is till now is very one-sided.
Indeed.
Medvedev and Kachanov don't play each other since 2019.
Who haven't played since 2019? Sorry.
No, and Kachanov lost his last 21 matches against the top 10 players,
Okay.
winning just
Wow.
6 sets.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite weird because in 2018 she won a master, beating Djokovic, who was in GOAT mode because he won the last 2 Grand Slam of the 2018. Then yeah, he after that match against Medvedev in the semifinals in the Canada Masters 2019, he always lost against top 10 players. I wonder when the curse will be broken.
Let's
Yeah,
see if it's in the next 24 hours or so. Let's see if that curse is broken. There's a nice little caption as well for the women's semis, a bit easier to compute. And they, as you said, Ons Jabeur will be playing against Kostyuk, probably last on, I would have thought, or towards the end of the day in Adelaide. But that looks a fairly a competitive lineup. Well, obviously, Vondrousova, didn't she get to the French Open final a couple of years ago, I think? But she's kind of disappeared since then. Sabalenka, Jabeur, as well as we said, Kostyuk, and all eyes as well are often on Azarenka, understandably so. That brings us then finally back to our lovely, beloved United
yeah,
Cup. Some really, really interesting matches here as far as I'm concerned. Swiatek Pegula, which I think will be first on Ken Rosewell. Let's say Swiatek wins that. Tiafoe wins his against Michalski. So that will be very interesting. I guess these semi-finals are going to be over 2 days, are they? Will they do
over 2 days because they play in the same venue, so they can't they divide the stadium.
That
2
makes
teams
sense. That's
playing,
fine. Yeah.
yeah,
And
2
then Sunday.
sessions.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
Sunday, all the complete final. Yeah,
So
and
no mixed
probably
doubles,
also
tonight.
no.
Cool.
Then
Trevisan.
there's
By the way, I'm having a lot of fun watching Trevisan. He's
yeah,
fun.
she's a gritty player. She always brings a lot of herself on the court. Trevisan, by the way, beat Sakkari when she reached the quarterfinals in 2020 Roland Garros. Yeah, I know different conditions. Sakkari has improved a lot since then. It must be said. So it should be at least, I think. But I think that Trevisan has something to say. in this match. In the second set against Swiatek, she played a great tennis in the second set. It's been a 6-4, lasted over an hour. So yeah, she's finding her form. I have to say, I don't know. Then first match of the tie, so who knows? But I think Sakkari is not gonna be beaten.
He's not going to be beaten. There you go. You heard it here first. So who's going through to the final?
USA and Greece.
Oh, you're going against Italy then in that match.
I'm seeing something special in the Greek team. I have to say this. So yeah, I know that probably 2 matches on paper are for Italy. Then I don't know. Tsitsipas Berrettini is quite important for it's not quite. It's very, very important for Tsitsipas especially. But I think Team Greece has something to say till the end in this United Cup. Even if I think that USA has the clear stronger team. Because if Pegula doesn't play good tennis, there's Madison Keys, and if Fritz is so, there's Frances Tiafoe playing as number 2, and it's important because as a number 2 singles player, he's quite unbeatable. For example, I can't see him losing against Michalski. I can be wrong, but I clearly don't think so. So yeah, I think that USA, but I think that both can end up very, very tight ties. But I think that these are the 2 teams who will. Yeah, Keys lost to Lynette at Billie Jean King Cup, as someone is pointing, and they're gonna face each other again. Yeah, Lynette is playing also amazing tennis. I don't know. I think that USA is gonna be favorite.
Fair enough. On that note, I will like to remind many people who are joining us maybe for the first time today, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you don't miss out on episodes like today, which we're doing pretty much every day at the moment, and we'll continue probably until the end of the month with so much going on. We'll be doing huge marathon live events throughout the Australian Open from dusk till dawn. Exactly, and it will be dusk till dawn, and it'll probably go beyond dawn actually through to lunchtime, Central European time or whatever. So we'll be doing all that. We'll hopefully be getting a bit of sleep in between, but make sure you come and join us. Make sure you hit that like button. If you are watching after the event retrospectively, make sure you get in the comment section below and let us know what you think on any of the action that we've spoken about, some of our predictions as well. Mario, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. It was enjoyed as always.
Yes, I will leave us with a couple of videos as well to play us out. One of just a little rundown on the results from the last sort of 36 hours or so. So hopefully you enjoy that little loop that I've put together. And once again, I'm just going to say thank you very much. Grazie mille. Grazie mille.
You're going to teach me some German words.
I'll teach you some German in a week or 2 when you're here. I think you're going to be here 9-10 days away. I think something like that. Sunday next week anyway. Okay. And by the way, we've got Damien is going to be here too. He arrives on the Saturday, I believe. So that'll be live from my living room for the first week of the Australian Open, and that's something to look forward to as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Okay. Listen. Also to the audience. Thank you for stopping by. There was a lovely interview I did with Liam Brody's coach earlier, albeit that Brody lost his Challenger event in Canberra. But that was a good interview, so make sure you check out that from early today. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I'll leave you with this little video, and ciao. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.